The Amazing Digital Circus storyline in recent episodes has focused mostly on revealing the character and backstory of the main characters. We still have a lot of questions about the structure of the digital circus world, but now we've gotten to know many of the characters better. In this video, I want to break down the journey of the show's characters over the course of 3 episodes, how they've changed, and what we've learned about their personalities. Let's start the breakdown with those characters we've learned quite a bit of information about. First up is the main character of Digital Circus, Pomni. In the pilot, Pomni had an intense fear of everything she saw. Pomni couldn't accept the fact that she was stuck in the digital circus. Because of this, she was obsessed with the exit door and was constantly looking for it. As a result of the events of the pilot, Pomni began to hate the digital circus. On her first day, instead of a simple adventure, Pomni had to be rescued from an abstracted Kaufmo. Also, Pomni was shocked by Ragatha's glitches and was very scared that her arm started glitching too. At first, I didn't understand what those weird facial expressions on Pomni's face at the end of the pilot meant. In Tumblr, Gooseworks explained that Pomni was very angry at Kane for everything she was going through. At first, Pomni didn't trust the other people stuck in the digital circus. We can understand this from Pomni's dream that we saw at the beginning of the 2nd episode. In the background, we can notice the eyes of the abstracted characters in the dark. The abstraction seems to surround Pomni from all sides. The same hand that was glitchy in the pilot becomes abstracted in the dream. Obviously, this experience left a serious imprint on Pomni. When the other characters saw the abstraction in the dream, Kane just sent Pomni to the basement and the other people didn't pay much attention. It seems odd, but with the other people reacting so calmly to the horrors going on in the digital circus, it can seem like no one cares about anyone else. However, in the 2nd and 3rd episode, the other characters prove Pomni wrong. At Kaufmo's funeral, Pomni sees how much the people in the digital circus actually mean to each other. In the 3rd episode, when Pomni and Kinger are trapped by Baron Mildenhall and Pomni's body is taken over by ghosts, Pomni loses her temper and starts crying. I understood this to mean that Pomni began to regret that she had stopped thinking about how she could get out of the circus. She came to the conclusion that Kane doesn't really care about people and just wants them to suffer. At such times, Ragatha and Kinger came to Pomni's rescue. In the 2nd and 3rd episodes, Ragatha and Kinger let Pomni know that she is not alone with her fears. Pomni gets better. She thanks Ragatha for her kindness, and honestly admits that being with Kinger isn't so bad at all. Over the past episodes, Pomni has realized that there will be many difficulties along the way, but her friends will always come to her aid. The next character development I want to break down is Kinger. In the pilot, Kinger seemed like the strangest character of all. He talked about obscure things at the time, like his insect collection. Kinger kept forgetting that Gangle was standing next to him. This caused him to frighten himself and frighten Gangle. Kinger's behavior was incomprehensible and unreasonable. Kinger endangered Zubul in the pilot and Pomni in the 2nd episode. But near the end of the 2nd episode, an attentive viewer could see that something changed in Kinger. When the bucket appeared on his head, he listened carefully to Ragatha and gave her a meaningful answer. At that moment, Ragatha was worried that Pomni was feeling too bad about the digital circus, and there was nothing she could do about it. Kinger said very right words. He suggested Ragatha not to take all the responsibility only on herself, because all the heroes had a hard time when they first adapted to the digital circus. In the darkness, Kinger easily remembered what Ragatha's first day in the digital circus had been like.
Don't take it too personally. I remember how long it took for you to adjust.
Ragatha had been very surprised by it. But when Kinger took off the bucket, he forgot everything again. Before Kaufmo's funeral and during the ceremony, Kinger also behaved very appropriately and reservedly. Thinking about the abstraction brought back his memories, and he told Pomni,
"It's the least we can do to honor their memory."
In the 3rd episode, we finally learn the reason for Kinger's strange behavior. In fact, Kinger is a kind, understanding, and wise man, but he suffers from short-term amnesia, which causes him to forget everything when he is in bright lights. In the dark, all memories come back to him as the darkness reminds him of his abstracted wife. Kinger studied computer science and got into the digital circus with his wife. Quinny was smart and creative and loved entomology. Kinger didn't like insects, but he was able to love them because of her. He still cherishes his insect collection, which he talked about in the pilot. Kinger always tries to sit in his cushion castle so he doesn't forget the last moment with his abstracted wife. I didn't really like Kinger before, but now he's become one of my favorite characters in Digital Circus. We learned quite a bit about Jax in the episodes that came out. In the pilot, Jax quickly proved himself to be the rudest character. He didn't go out of his way to appease Pomni. Instead, he immediately said that there was no way out of the digital circus. Since Jax has the most fun going through the adventures, he is the informal leader of the characters. Jax loves to make jokes on others in a way that brings serious discomfort. He never misses an opportunity to ruin Gangle's mask. Jax also left centipedes in Regatha's room. I'll remind you that Regatha hates centipedes. Jax almost doesn't care what happens to the other characters or how they feel. When Jax, Pomni, and Regatha saw Kaufmo abstracted, Jax just vaporized. Jax left Pomni and Regatha face to face with a dangerously abstracted Kaufmo. You can tell from these scenes that Jax is very afraid of glitches and abstraction. In Queen Gloink's lair, he didn't care about his enemies. But when the glitches appeared, Jax became worried. Jax tries hard to pretend that he is not afraid of abstraction. In reality, Jax was scared to even admit to Gangle and Kinger that Kaufmo was abstracting. Jax prefers to distract himself from his anxious thoughts by going on new adventures. In the second episode, we saw Jax treat the NPCs rather cruelly. He wanted to kill the crocodiles Gummigo, Max, and Chad, and then Jax made a deal with Fudge. He let the monster into the town and doomed many of the residents of Candy Canyon to death. In the second episode, you can tell that Jax is angry when he isn't allowed to distract himself from his troubling thoughts with an epic battle or jokes. He leaves disappointed when Kaufmo's funeral begins. Jax didn't get to enjoy the adventure in episode 3 either. Martha Mildenhall tied him up and he sat in the cart for the rest of the adventure. When Pomni didn't give him a reason to joke around, Jax also left in frustration. I think in episode 6, we'll learn Jax's real thoughts and get to see his path of correction. A more mysterious character acted as Zubul. We learned almost nothing about her in the first 2 episodes. She made it clear that she wanted no part of any new adventures. Jax likes to play jokes on her, and she hates him for it. That said, Zubul is worried about other people. She prepared everything for Kaufmo's funeral and supported Ragatha and Pomni. In episode 3, we learned that Zubul is tormented by being in the digital circus herself. She hates her messy and fragile body. Zubul doesn't want to go on adventures because she doesn't want to be in the digital circus as she is at all. It remains to be seen how Zubul's problem will be resolved. We don't know much about Ragatha. She wants everyone around her to be good. Gooseworks made it clear in Tumblr that Ragatha will become Pomni's best friend. But we have yet to find out what Ragatha hides behind her smile. We don't know much about Gangle either. Jax loves to bully Gangle because she doesn't fight back. Gangle is good at drawing. She did an illustration when she was watching Pomni hold her breath. She also showed her drawing at Kaufmo's funeral. It's unknown exactly what role Gangle's masks play in her character and behavior. We'll get answers to all of Gangle's questions in the next 4th episode. What do you think about it? Which character is your favorite? What could Jax, Ragatha, and Gangle be hiding? Write your thoughts and theories in the comments and I'll be sure to read them. The best comments will make it into the new videos. Also, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Good luck everyone, and bye-bye.